Hey guys, Morgan Gales with Motorcycle Cruiser out here in the hills east of San Diego riding the XDiavel S. This is Ducati's just massive power cruiser that sort of rounds out their line of sport and race bikes with something a little bit lower seat height, a little bit forward controls and the lower bars, something that's trying to be a little bit more relaxed for the cruiser market. So we're out here hitting the twisties, just going fast and seeing how we like riding this thing. 1262 cc's isn't massive for the cruiser market. Compared to the Milwaukee 8 at 107 or 114, and then the Indian Thunderstroke at 111, the 1262 isn't massive, but at 13:1 compression ratio, the power that you get from this is so much more extreme than most of the other, two-cylinder cruisers that we're used to testing. The amount of power this bike puts out is insane. You're looking at 156 horse, 95 foot-pound torque on a bike that weighs 485 pounds dry. You have a 240 millimeter rear, so when you twist the throttle, it all gets to the ground. Not to mention Ducati's wheelie control and different systems that make sure that you're going straight rather than picking up when you want to be. But when you put it in urban or touring mode, it's easy to sort of round that out, and it's nice. It's not this just aggressive power that's always right at the throttle. You can round it out and smooth things out a little bit when you want to. With 50 millimeter inverted front forks and your one-sided, cast and welded swing arm, you have full-on sport bike suspension on this thing, and it honestly reads like that. You hit the twisties, and this bike it's confident, it's stable, you can dig in and hang out. But when you get onto the straights and you want something to be a little bit smoother and sort of eat those bumps, it's a little bit tougher than I'd like it to be. With the forwards, as opposed to, having mids or something that you can take more of your weight off and put it onto your feet, the forwards put all your weight onto your butt. So when you're hitting those stiff bumps, it sort of paddles you. But when I go into the twisties and throw it around, it's stable and it's incredible. It's way more fun. It handles the twisties way better than 99% of other cruisers I've ridden. The ergos on this bike are pretty typical cruiser ergos. You have your low seat height, you have pretty low standard straight bars, and then your forward controls. While it's comfortable, but the amount of power this bike has, I'm not really in the position that I want to be to ride it like it feels it wants to be ridden. I want to be in a little bit more of an aggressive stance because most of the time this bike feels like it wants to be ridden in more of an aggressive way. And with the lower bars and the forward controls, your weight's on your butt and you're pretty much planted in one position. So while it is comfortable and it is a nice, comfortable cruising position, the character of the bike and the way that I feel it wants to be ridden involves, moving around a lot more and just a lot more of an active riding experience than just being planted in the one position. The XDiavel S has a lot of details that the normal base model doesn't, and while it is a bit more expensive, honestly, I feel like you'd sort of be shooting yourself in the foot by going for the base model. There's so many little things that you look at and you can just really indulge in when you look at this bike, like the cast swing arm and the welded aluminum there, and then the contrast on the engine and the little details in the paint. There's a lot of really sort of elegant sport bike components that work well in this aesthetic, and they all sort of come together in a very Ducati way that it looks really nice on this bike. Moving forward, it would be really nice to see a mid-foot control option for this bike, something that you have the opportunity to put your feet down and lift a little bit more of the weight off than you do now. It'd also be cool to see a little bit softer suspension as an option. I weigh 180 pounds, and even on the softest adjustment, I'm still getting paddled on the flats. So it'd be cool to see a way to pick a little bit more of my weight off and an option for a little bit softer suspension. To some people that need the most power on this exclusive bike, I think the price tag's totally going to be worth it. I think that if this is the bike that you're after and you want that massive output in this cruiser stance and you want to be able to smoke your friends on sport bikes even though you're the dude out there with forwards, then sure, this is your bike. But if you're just looking for a nice cruiser to go out and hit the highways on the weekends, this is going to be about double the price tag of something you're going to be looking for. At the launch, Claudio Domenicali called this bike 100% cruiser and 100% Ducati. After riding it and seeing the incredible performance aspects of it, there's no denying that it is 100% Ducati. But I think to get 100% cruiser, there would just have to be a little bit more attention to the comfort aspects and a little bit more of a ability for just an effortless, relaxing cruise.